Hello my friend, if you're looking to get an authentic vintage vibe vocal in your home studio recordings and productions, this is the video for you. Inspired by listening to the music of Chet Baker, in particular his vocals over the weekend, I wanted to hop up into my home studio and have a bit of fun and see if I could get anywhere near that beautiful, authentic, intimate, vintage sound, particularly on his vocals. Now there's a few essential bits of gear which I'm missing, which the producers would have used in those recordings. One would have been one of those beautiful RCA ribbon microphones and also a really nice warm preamp to go along with it. But I do have one of these, an Octava 319 large diaphragm condenser, which is a pretty dark, warm condenser microphone with quite creamy tops to it. It's certainly not one of those thin, sizzly sounding large diaphragm condensers. So a good choice for a vintage piece like this. Also, when I was doing my vocal takes, I was right up there in the grill, being quite intimate with the proximity effect. So I really get that sound of the vocals leaping out of the speakers. Now, in the absence of a lovely, warm, valvey driven preamp, I'm using a free preamp from the guys over at Analog Obsession in my plugin chain. I want to share that plugin chain with you right now, so let's dive straight in. If you're working on vocals, I've got a free vocal EQ cheat sheet for you. You can grab it below this video. Okay, so I feel like I should first off, as I've mentioned Chet Baker at the start of this video, just outline that I don't believe in any way that I have a vocal which sounds anywhere nearly as phenomenal as Chet Baker's vocal. I'm a big fan of his. But, as I did also say at the top of this video, just I really dig that sound, and I love that intimate vintage sound. So I'm always, when I'm doing recordings like this is like a cocktail piece. In fact, this isn't even a Chet Baker song. This is a Buddy Holly song, not even a jazz kind of standard. But it lends itself really well to this style. It's kind of like a cocktail piano style. I really like that intimate kind of jumping out of the speaker sound, that it sounds like the artist's in the room with you. And I really like that connection that you get when you listen to a record with that sound. So that's what I was attempting to do with this recording. So let's just take a listen first off. Just you know why you and I will by and by no true love ways. Now I should give a big shout out to Spitfire Audio as well. I'm using their intimate piano. Let me just pull that up for you. This one here, I believe it's $29.99. It's absolutely beautiful sounding plugin. Let me just solo that out for you so you can hear that. Yeah, I mean, the Spitfire Audio guys just put out some phenomenal stuff, but it just sounds great, that plugin. Just sounds super real. It's the intimate grand piano. Let's just now take a listen to that vocal. So what I'm going to show you first off is the vocal chain on and off. Now I did this pretty quickly, so there's a fair big gain jump between the plugins being on and off, but I'll try and compensate that just on the master fader. So let's first off listen to the vocal without these plugins in. Just you know why you and I. Now I'm just running through a little bit of tape and also a little bit of reverb that's on the master bus there. I think you can hear already quite how creamy that Octava microphone is. It does have that kind of vintage tone about it. Let me just take the master fader down again. And let's listen to the vocal with the plugins on. Just you know why you and I. So we can hear some of those plugins doing some of the heavy lifting. So let's just go through this plugin chain one by one. As I said at the top of the video, I'm using Tuba from Analog Obsession, a great free plugin. I mean, these guys, I've got a lot of videos on my channel about Analog Obsession. Just have some great stuff, particularly if you're interested in getting some of these authentic styled plugins of some classic hardware. So Tuba's pretty easy to use. It just sounds good off the bat. It's a really nice preamp. You've got some flexibility here with low frequency and high frequency boosting or cutting, but it's all notched, so there's not many decisions to make with it. It's just a case of just driving it. So let's take a listen to Tuba on and off. So off, first off.
Just you know why.
And with Tuba on.
Just you know why.
Now there is a bit of a volume jump there, which is not going to give you a really accurate A-Bing, but I think you can hear what it's doing there to really warm up that vocal, and it does feel like it's giving it that vintage intimacy already. Next up, I've got an EQ from the guys over at Kit Plugins. I really like Core EQ because it makes you use your ears. I've got a cut here which was just sounding a little bit harsh. I was A-Bing against Chet's vocal, and it really stood out that it was stopping it sounding quite as smooth. Let me just promote that frequency for you so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. So it's around 2.5K. Let's just take a listen.
Just you know why.
Here's the frequency.
Why you and
like a really quite aggressive and when I just took about 4 dB out, it just really smoothed that vocal out. Let's take a listen.
Just you know why.
And without the EQ,
just you know why.
Just a little bit more aggressive to your ears, and I wanted to smooth that one out. And I wanted that before the compressors, so the compressors aren't working on a frequency which I'm not too keen on. Next up, I've got an 1176. Smoothing out some of those peaks.
Just you know why. Why you and I.
So the 1176 is set up with a fairly fast attack and release, so it's getting in there and just getting rid of some of those aggressive peaks that I've got from my vocal. I mean, it's a fairly smooth performance that I've put in, but I am pretty close to the mic and constantly working quite close to the mic, so, you know, compressor's going to be my best friend to get that vocal a bit smoother. It's worth mentioning too that a lot of the hardware that these plugins are emulating didn't come out until about 10 years after Chet Baker's recording. I'd love to know if any of you guys know what kind of gear they were using back then. If you've got a good idea of that, let me know in the comments box below and share it with everybody. And if there's any cool plugins around which are emulating some of those 50s piece of hardware, the boom really seems to be around 60s and into the 70s when a lot of these compressors particularly were designed and created. So I've got a Burnley 73 here, Neve style plugin from the guys over at Sonimus. Great sounding channel strip, this one. I'm using it for a little bit of saturation, just warming up the vocal a little bit more, and I'm also boosting the high shelf as well, just getting a bit of high-end sheen to that vocal. Let's take a listen.
Just you know why you and I
Gotta turn that off now.
will by and by
Back on.
no true love ways.
Really great plugin, this one. I've got a lot of Neve emulations, and I really love the plugins from the guys over at Kit Plugins. I use their Neve style plugins a lot. I really like the Shep 73 as well from Waves. There's a lot. The world is not short of Neve emulations. This one in particular from Sonimus, there's something about it that just sounds great. I love it on bass, and I think it does a great job here with the high shelf on the vocal too. Next up, I've got LA2A, this one from the guys over at Universal Audio. Hopefully, like me, you picked this up for free a few months back. If not, there's a great free one from Analog Obsession called La La. I like the one from Black Rooster too. And this is just smoothing out a vocal. Just a few dB here, 1-2 dB. Just to smooth the vocal, adds a lovely vibe and a sort of buttery thickness to a vocal too. Just take a listen.
Just you know why.
And without.
Just you know why.
Little bit of a volume jump there as well too, but I think you can hear also what this is bringing to the party.
Just you know why.
And without.
Just you know why.
definitely some thickness that's bringing. Next up, I've got a de-esser, just cleaning up some of anything harsh up at the top end there. Those vintage records, those ribbon mics are really smooth and creamy. They've got that clarity still at the top. It's a really nice premium sounding top end. Finally, and this will help also the top end to smooth out the top end a little bit, is some tape emulation. This one, the J37 from Waves, I really like on vocals. I really like on independent tracks, much more so than I'm sticking it on the mix bus. And you're going to get a bit of saturation, a bit of warmth from it. You're also going to get a little bit of compression as well. It's going to glue everything together a little bit. Let's just take a listen to what that's doing. So let's listen without.
Just you know why you and I.
And with it on.
Just you know why you and I
find the sweet spot on this J37 plugin somewhere around kind of 11 o'clock before the needle gets down to the middle here. Now, just before we take one more listen to the finished result, I just want to show you a couple of plugins I've got going on the mix bus. Tape here from Softtube, just to glue the piano and the vocal together, give it a sense of kind of unity and cohesion. Really like the sound of this plugin. Let's just take a listen to that. In fact, I'll just turn the other one off for now. Let's take a listen with it off.
Just you know why you and I.
And with it on.
Just you know why you and I.
It's a lot more subtle than the J37, but that's what I like about it. It just brings a bit of colory vibe to the party. I really like this plugin. Sometimes I can't even quite put my finger on it, but it just brings something that I like on the master bus. And finally, I've got Abbey Road Chambers from Waves. I'm being really subtle with this. I've got like a warm vocal preset, and I've just brought it in at about 13%. So not very much. I mean, records like this are really super dry to get that intimate sound, but you want that little bit of room give so it just doesn't sound kind of dead. Let me show you what I mean. So here is it with it off.
Just you know
And with it on.
Just you know
It also really glues together that piano and vocal and gives the sense of unity in terms of its performance.
Why you and I.
A really lovely sounding plug-in, this one. So let's just take a listen to the final result with everything we've got on this plugin chain.
Will by and by no true love ways.
So there's some top tips if you're working on a project, specifically vocals, and you want that old school vintage warm sound. I really hope you found that video useful today. If you did, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're working on vocals, I've got a free vocal EQ cheat sheet for you. You can grab it below this video. And if you want to up your home studio productions to the next level and get noticed on platforms like Spotify, I have a whole bunch of mixing courses you can check out at realhomestudio.com. There's also an all-access pass subscription to that for just $14 a month. That's over 10 hours of home studio production tuition. You can trial it for free right now. Just head over to realhomestudio.com or check the link below this video. If you've been working on a vintage style vocal, you've got some techniques and tips you want to share, let me know in the comments box below. What did you think about the work I've done on this vocal today? Let me know in the comments box below. I want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to want to check this next one out.